We are recording.
Yay.
Yep, yay.
Yay.
Section 7, Barstone Snappers. So, thank you all for coming. And it's been really fun, the number of people who've been watching this because Alan has been so nice to record it on YouTube. So we've got some people who are taking the class who are not here. So that's really great. As a matter of fact, Joan sent me some of the photos that we'll see as we go through. So, as we do, a quick little thing that we start out with. You know, I was talking to somebody the other day that said, well, what are you trying to teach when everybody's using phones instead of regular cameras? And I was explaining, well, it's really about what's in a photograph. You know, we talked about going from taking pictures to making pictures, and so it's what's in the photograph. And then you have to look at what are the key elements that are in the photograph. And so what we've talked about is, if your picture isn't good enough, it might mean you're not close enough. And then getting rid of clutter. Your point of view, not always shooting just from here, but maybe from up here, down there, getting down, all of that sort of stuff. The rule of thirds. Photos are always more interesting, not always. There are times when dead center is the right thing to do, but most times off a little bit. And then creating some drama in your photograph by paying attention to the lines that are in there. We'll do a session on leading lines, but the most powerful one, of course, as we talked about, is a diagonal line. Then when we met last time, we talked about what's in the frame that you put them in, talking about the aspect ratio. Because if you look at these, the one on the far left, which I've kind of cut off, I think is square. The next one's a little bit of a rectangle, a little bit of a rectangle. This one on the far right with the two people is a little bit more horizontal. And all of that affects the way you view the photograph. So it's one of those subtle little things to pay attention to. Exactly how am I holding my phone? Because we have a natural tendency to hold it like this all the time, when all you could have to do is go like that and you create something different. And then the last time what we talked about is what are the different kinds of shapes that you can do with your phone. You know, the one on the left and the one in the middle is simply using the aspect ratio that's in the phone and then turning the phone on its side or straight up. Then we went through ways of finding how to do a square photograph. And as we've talked about, in iPhones it's different than in the Samsung or in the Motorola, all of that sort of stuff, the Android phones. But they're in there somewhere. There is a way to get to square. And then the bottom one is the panoramic. And all of the phones will do it. I mean, some of the really old phones may not. But if you're using a phone that you have to hand crank, it's probably not going to really do a lot of great photography. So the assignment I gave you was thinking about the way you're framing the photo. How am I framing the photo? You know, and then I asked you to take 3 photos, one of each, and then send them to me. And I'm really shocked. It's wonderful. How many of you sent? Not 3. But 9. Someone actually sent me 15. So, you know, 5 different attempts. I think that's really great. And some didn't. And that's fine too. You know, if you don't want to send your photo, it's not a requirement. So this is just working out really, really well. So I thought what we do is look at the photos that you sent, and I will offer, if I may, a gentle critique. All right? One of the first things I want to say is, because we'll talk about light later on, you have been forced to take photographs at the worst possible time.
Yeah.
The middle of the day, and you know, we're out there usually around 11 o'clock, 11 to noon or 1, when the sun's directly overhead and very, very bright. It's just the worst light there is to take photographs. And we'll talk more about that in a little bit. But I want to just mention that I really think it's cool that you've been working your way through that. And then folks have done different things looking at what they can do. So we'll walk through these now. So Betty sent these. And I think they're really fun. So the idea, now this is where I get to this is where I get to say what I see, and then you can countermand me. All right? So what I really like is this is called bench. You've heard of plumber's crack? This is bench crack. She captured it in all of them. I don't think that was necessarily your intent. But this, if you look at this one, it's just enough off-center to make it interesting. If it were dead center, it just simply wouldn't be there. This one I looked at, well, and I'm sorry, the other thing is, one of the problems you have we're talking about the rule of thirds, when you're shooting square, that can be hard to do. You did it here, okay? Because I think that makes it really interesting. This is an interesting photograph because you had two choices. You had actually three. How much of this do I put in? Do I put this right in the middle? Or do I put this at the bottom and the trees at the top? And I don't know what was going on, but I would imagine that if you tried to reverse it, so you had the trees at the top, you also get the road. So the idea is that by moving around, you get different ways of seeing things. This I really like. Now, Betty, is the middle one panorama?
No.
No, okay. It sure looks like it.
Yeah.
Again, like the one we were just talking about. I'm sorry, go ahead.
I may have cropped it a little bit.
You may have cropped it a little, okay. This one, again, the thing about, you know, where are you going to put the subject? It's not dead center. Remember we talked about if you put the horizon line right in the middle, it's really kind of like, no matter what. Well, so you've done this. I really like this photograph.
Yeah, beautifully framed.
Yeah, it is. It's beautifully framed. Yeah. And I'm sure you studied really hard. One of the things we've talked about is getting rid of the clutter, not having things overlap. Look at this. Perfect frame. Benny just laughed like, oh really?
That was just accidental.
That was not an accident. There are no accidents when it turns out well. It's like, oh yeah, you know. Because there's so many times when you go, oh. But I just think I like all three of those. Great subject matter, and really well framed.
Beautiful.
Yeah. And we all see these. But an interesting subject to shoot. So in the horizontal, okay, moves it over to the right, makes it a little more interesting. And I like the way in the square, the way you tilted it. No? Add a little tension. What's wrong with this photograph?
It's in the middle, isn't it?
Well, it's in the middle, but that doesn't bother me that much.
Too much.
Cropped part of it?
Yeah.
Cropped out part of it?
It's either in or it's out. And you know, all you have to do is come back a little bit,
Is that yours?
then you get it. Yeah, these are still Betty's. Yeah. So, you know, that's
Well, that's the kind of thing that's right at your feet when you're sitting on a bench.
exactly, yeah, yeah. So if you stand up, you had to stand up because you're shooting straight down on it. And if you just lifted the camera up a little bit more, then you would have had this. So, nice job. Now, you don't have to go out wandering in the fields. You can just walk out on your balcony, which is what Don did. I really like them. What are they photographs of?
A neighborhood.
Okay, a neighborhood.
Does it depend on which one you're looking at? Because the one on the left there, you're looking at the sky, the clouds.
Yeah.
The bottom one is the street.
And the other one's at the streets. This one is the street.
I like that one.
And what Pat just said is really, I think, really important, is that it's just the framing that decided in this particular case what the photograph is about. That's about a dramatic sky in the neighborhood. This one, the bottom square, a little harder to find. What I like about this, what do you see in here that you think I would like? The diagonal line. Look at the street. And I don't know if you can see it clearly enough, but it actually curves around so that line takes your eye into the photograph.
Also the balance of the two shadows, the large one in the forefront and the smaller one on the right in the back.
Yes,
Really.
the balance of the shadows. Absolutely right. Yeah.
I like the lake at top.
You like the lake in here?
Seems to pull it all up.
Yeah, the lake does pull it all up. You're right. Yeah. See, and just think if Donna dropped down so that this was right in the middle, the photo would just be kind of like, but this adds a certain level. I mean, the fact that it's this and all the wires and whatnot, I think it's really fun.
Of course, none of that did I intend.
So Don just said, none of that did I intend.
I think marketing would love it.
This is supposed to be on the construction project.
Yeah. It's
Oh.
supposed to be on the construction project.
Oh, I didn't even
One
notice
in
it.
the middle.
You didn't even, Joe,
I didn't notice it.
Sarah Jo didn't even notice the construction project.
No, I didn't.
That's what's so much fun is you never, you know, it's like the, you know, one of the things I like to say is the novelist writes the book, but it's not a real novel until it's been read.
Yeah.
But, you know, in that one, if that's his intention, it's a terrible picture.
If his intention here is to show the
If
construction,
it's a, yeah. if
it's a bad
that.
picture.
But if it's all the other things, it's an excellent picture.
Yeah.
So where is the construction?
Those two
Oh,
white.
no, where is it located? What is that street?
So you look at the back of the building, right? And then over one block that way.
Okay.
One block to the west.
Okay.
It's right on the corner.
But it's prominent in the bottom square one.
Yes, it is.
Yeah.
It's more prominent here. Yeah,
If that's the object of the picture. yeah.
sure.
So there are six homes going in on
Yeah.
that,
Okay.
where one used to be.
Wow.
And,
So, yeah, I actually went online to the building department. I looked at the master use permit for this. It's 3 units in a garage. And one of them is what they call a mother-in-law apartment. It's very small. But yeah, and it used to be a grand stately home.
Oh,
So
yeah.
it's 3 individual homes?
it's-
Yeah, you'll see 1, 2, and then there'll be something right in the middle.
Isn't the one on
So, anyway, one thing, Don, I don't know if you knew, because Don sent me another photo that we'll look at in a couple of minutes. You did this in HDR.
I didn't mean to.
Okay, so HDR is one of the settings on the camera. And when you do that, the camera is actually taking a bunch of photos and bringing them all together. All right, so it's trying to balance the light. So that's what makes it a little darker and richer than what you might normally see. All right,
Well, you know, I think it's interesting.
No, no.
The
Go ahead.
square, it seems like the square, it seems like each one has a quality, each frame.
Yeah.
I didn't hear your lecture, sorry. I was
yeah, well, it's,
camping, but it seems like the square is the one that kind of zeroes in on maybe what he thought the picture was,
right.
more than the other ones. And I don't know the qualitative differences between the frames, but I'm beginning to get an idea of it.
Well, if you go back and look at the video, because Alan posted it, he sent out an email to everybody on the last class, and it is about that, because you're spot on.
Yeah.
The way you frame it has a big impact on the way the viewer experiences it. And so if you know, you can do that in 2 ways. You can shoot a big photo and crop it into different things, or because we're all using phones, you should do that in the phone, because not everybody has software to be able to crop and manipulate. Okay, everybody does dogs. I think those are really great, Matt. And it's you know, one of the first rules I said was get close,
Yes,
you know, which is what you did. Otherwise it'd just be the dog laying on a couch.
yeah.
Okay, the square one, it has a diagonal in it, you know, and the question is I wonder what the dog's looking at. Okay,
That upper left corner one though is marvelous for its diagonal.
the upper left, yeah,
Yeah.
that's what I'm talking about, yeah,
Oh,
exactly. Yep. This one as you're viewing it on the far right, I really love because the dog looked at you.
Like,
Yes.
what are you doing?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. And the light is really good too.
yeah.
There's an interesting thing just for you to notice as you're looking at photographs. I don't expect you to be able to do it now, but there's a thing called a catch light. And if a person, you know, the first thing people go to are faces and eyes. And if the eye doesn't have any light in it, it's flat. And if you will look at the dog, there's a little white spot here and a little white
Yes.
spot here.
Right, yeah.
Those are called catch lights. And it's a result, did you use the flash? Or not? Pat? When you did this, did you use a flash? What's the matter?
We're looking for Pat.
Oh, I'm sorry.
I don't think Pat's here.
That's not here. Pat used a flashlight. That's, I'm sorry.
We knew what you meant.
You did, okay. So you get the idea, all right?
Those are
Sarah Jo.
It's really Sandra Jo.
Sandra Jo.
Yeah.
Is it really?
Uh,
Gosh, I do humbly apologize.
No, I like Sarah Jo.
Well, I've been called Greif all my life, so, you know. You like Sarah Jo? Should we change it?
No.
No, okay, Sandra. Sandra Jo. Okay, so I really like what you did here. It's because it's a strong image. I mean, the geometrics that are in it, I really like.
I like the one on the right.
This one?
Yeah, I think it's really beautiful because she's taken the vertical of the stone.
Right.
And made the photograph vertical,
Yes.
as well as you see that plant coming up. I think it's gorgeous.
Others? Comments?
Plus the line of that tree trunk and the texture and color pick up the colors in the stone.
Yes. I think you're right. The bottom left, it kind of compresses everything. The top left, the bottom, that big stone at the bottom is kind of cut off. I mean, and that's not that they're bad photographs. It is the constriction of the frame you're using. And you're absolutely right. The fact that the horizontal here plays off the horizontal of the stone, which actually looks like it's leaning.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it's
Nice
really
job,
good.
Sandra Jo.
And then the top with the trees and everything.
Yeah, the trees. And I like this line. Takes you up to here.
Yeah.
It's a beauty.
Yep.
There's something slightly unsettling about it in the lean of the stone. It
Yeah.
also makes it interesting.
The lean of the stone is slightly unsettling. I think you're right. Where is this?
Japanese garden.
On the Japanese garden? Okay. Yeah. I like it. Well done. Sandra Jo.
Thank you.
This is interesting. The first thing I want to know is what is that? You know.
You're Jill.
Pardon? What?
I just said, it's Jill here, and she says, I'm Jill.
You're Jill. Okay, thanks, Jill. So what is it?
Well, we have a couple of shells, and we've taken some of our artwork and, made a composition. So it's a cribbage board, actually, with, we've traveled quite a bit, so that was on our travels, and then the mast that we've attached to it.
Oh, I see.
So the thing on the left is a Japanese piece that was given to us. So it's kind of just a mixture.
Sure. So what would happen if you had pulled out a little bit more so that we saw this and the edge of this? Now, the downside is, well, then you'd put the mask dead center, and yet it might have worked better. Because the display is horizontal, shooting it vertically doesn't work.
Oh,
I thought it was
Right.
interesting, the photo albums down below were kind of like a border or something. I don't know.
Yeah, no, okay.
No, they're pointing at it.
I'll buy that, yeah, they're taking you up to it. I would have stepped back a little bit more though.
They're very fuzzy looking.
So it is fuzzy. Most of their photos you sent me are fuzzy. You sent me another one
Uh-huh.
Have you cleaned the lens on your camera?
Yeah, I did yesterday.
Yesterday? And you
After I
took-
take
After you
it.
took that? Okay. Yeah.
I mean, would
Interesting.
that be the only reason why those are fuzzy?
Try and see when you take pictures.
Yeah, today, when we're done, let's take a couple of photos, because there are a couple of things. You remember we talked about what can cause a blurry photo? And basically 3 things. One is camera movement. So that's why we did the class on holding it, not like this, but like this. And if you look, this line is pretty strong. So I don't think the camera moved. Then it would be focus. Well, I don't know where the camera's focused because it's blurry,
Yeah, I know.
right? So I don't know. We'll look at it. Okay?
They're lousy.
No, they aren't lousy.
What,
They're mystical, you know.
hey, Jill, what number is your camera? What is it?
That's that 10.
It's what?
The X from iPhone.
Oh, the iPhone 10?
Uh-huh.
Oh, wow. Then
Wow.
That's got a really good camera. We got to fiddle with your camera. Yeah. Okay. We'll do that. All right.
Ah,
Oh, I love balloons.
You love what?
That?
Love balloons.
Love balloons.
Love that.
So what do we see here?
It's just enough off center so it's fine.
This one?
Oh,
Which photo strikes you the most?
The one on the right.
The one on the right?
For me, yeah.
You
you're
too.
right for me.
The others are pictures, and that one's a photograph.
These are pictures and this is a photograph. Okay. Photograph of what?
Good question.
What's
You know,
that
I-
post?
Well, photograph of a post.
But it's the whole thing.
It's the whole thing.
I like the one on the upper left because it tells a more complete story.
Mhm. The upper left tells a more
Of the
complete story.
of the blooming.
Yes. Of the blooming. I think there's an attempt here, love blooms,
Mhm.
right?
Mhm.
And that nice corner with the triangle down the bottom.
Here?
Yeah,
Yep.
Yeah, that's beautiful.
and everything seems to look into the center.
It does. Yes. I'm a little bit partial with Don. I like the fact that it's all there. It would be, I'd come back and take this photograph in June
Yeah.
with all kinds of blossoms around it. Where is this?
It's on 4th Avenue, just before the dragonfly on the road. There's a big dragonfly painted in the road. And this house, it's so big I can't take a picture of it. This house is on the northeast corner of that intersection.
Okay.
Huh.
Yeah.
Can we, Mary, can I ask you something?
Yeah.
What was your intent when you did this picture?
It was the sentiment on that post, the art of the post itself, and then trying to relate it to
And then what?
balloons. Trying to relate it to the balloons.
Oh, I see.
So the art on the post
Uh-huh.
and relating it to the bloom, to the blossom. Yeah.
And I like the way the grass sort of sprayed into the post.
The grass coming into here? Yes.
I really like that. And the
Yeah.
way the shrub behind it sort of embraces it.
Yep.
Yeah.
What do you think might have happened? I'm going to guess just at the angle. You took it kind of like this. If
No,
you've gone
actually,
down?
I think I was on my knees.
Were you on your knees?
Wow.
Okay.
So that isn't very high.
That's impressive in itself.
Yeah, maybe not,
It
yeah.
was hard to get up.
Yeah. We have lots of people struggling to get back up,
You know,
yeah,
and
that's
the other
right.
thing is, what if somebody walks out of their house and finds you on their sidewalk on your knees?
I'm taking a picture.
Could be some explaining.
Then you just
I like the way it's
Never
framed.
ask another
that one.
question.
Yeah.
I mean, this
You can
frames
say you're
it,
an amateur.
it's all framed, including the shadow on the right.
Yeah, the way it's framed, yeah, yep.
It was late afternoon, like 5:30.
Yeah, and you know how you can tell that?
The
Shadow.
Look at
shadows.
the shadow.
Yeah.
One other thing I like about the vertical one is if we didn't have it to see the other two that get closer, it'd be hard to read love blooms. I mean, you can read it in the lower left, but you have to work at it.
Yes.
That one,
You
Yes.
really
it's
can
right
read it.
there.
Yeah. So let's talk about why the lower left doesn't work. And it's not because it's square. It's just it's just a post with writing on it. And there's a basic rule that says if there's writing in a photograph,
You gotta
that's
read
the
it.
first thing people do is they read what it says, right? And so you read that and you go, well, okay. This, you're right, puts it all into context. I think that's really great. I like both of those. So we're going to expect to see in June. You're at their house.
Okay.
Yes.
Remember where that was.
She didn't stop there.
No, I got carried away, Frank, I'm sorry.
No, you're supposed to get carried away. That's what this is about.
What this is about.
Yeah. The only way this photograph works is if it's a big, big vertical.
It's interesting that both of them, there's one that's outstanding, and the others are,
One is outstanding and the other's not. Which one is outstanding to you?
well, to me, I like the tall one.
The tall one.
The looking up the first stairs, and you keep going, you think, oh my goodness, there's a whole nother set of stairs.
Yes, that's right. Yeah, this one, the photograph kind of just stops. It's something with a bunch of flowers in it. This one, you go up a little bit, but you're right. This one is like, oh, there's a flight of stairs, there's a flight of stairs,
Yeah.
there's another flight of stairs there. Where is this all going? And then the tree keeps taking you on up.
But
And the
it's also
wonderful
the
thing
red
is
of
that
the
right in
house.
the middle of that, you have all these super vertical lines, and then you've got a diagonal line
Yes.
Yes.
and a different color right in the middle.
Yeah.
Yes.
That adds some real interest to it.
Yeah, I agree.
So remember I've said several times about busy photos?
Yeah.
This could be a busy photo. And yet it's not because of the fact that it has this real strong element in it and it's been framed.
Oh, that's interesting.
Yeah, very interesting.
And that walkway in front of the stairs, there's enough of it there to give you some respite from the busy.
Yeah, that's right.
Shrubs
Yeah,
and
yeah, this bottom half is pretty calm. Yeah, it's a solid base. Gets more complex as it goes up.
And the squares and the pile things in it just lead directly up.
Yep.
They add all that.
I just noticed in the lower left one, the way they have to describe their units. Yeah, for I guess visitors trying to find where you are
Yeah.
in the
Right.
complex.
That's right.
I've never seen anything
It's
quite like that.
It is a map of the various apartments, you're right.
Yeah.
But you know what? She wasn't done.
Oh, my goodness.
Hmm.
Which one do we like here?
Hmm.
I'll be honest, for me, there isn't one of these that leaps out at me like the other ones.
Right,
Yeah, right.
right.
Vertical one?
Okay, well, the vertical one's kind of interesting, but it doesn't really, I don't know.
I like the square one.
You like the square one?
That's
Sure,
more.
yeah, pretty photo of flowers. But if you look back, and the drama in that one,
Right.
Yes, right,
and
yes.
the story in that one,
Yeah.
they're missing there. And one of the things we struggle with is what am I going to take a photo of, right?
Yeah.
Right.
And so it's not so much that the photographer didn't capture something there as what's there to make it really interesting.
Nothing.
And not a whole lot. But thank you. Great series.
When you get to the point where you can't even see anything and you've got 3 more pictures to take, and you're
Yeah, it's very, yeah. As Betty's saying, you get to the point where you got 3 more pictures to take, you can't see anything. Well, okay, then it's time to put it down and walk around for a while, take a breath.
I think she could have done a lot with that red mailbox.
Yeah.
Yeah, you might have been able to.
She'd gotten in the
Sure.
front of the screen stairs. And
Yep.
it might have been a really great picture in that.
See, I found all the green lines interesting.
All the green lines?
On the roof.
Okay.
The line of the green shade in the window, the different green on the stairs.
Yeah, good point.
That's what I found interesting.
Well, and there's the thing of complementary colors,
Red and green.
and red and green, strong complementary colors.
Yeah.
If you block off the bush, then you really see those lines.
Yeah. Okay, we're gonna keep going here. Yep. And that's, I think, I like this one because it seems to capture more and it got rid of the car.
Where is this?
Where is this? It's from Unit 702.
Oh,
You know, this building is infinitely interesting because of its lines.
Yeah, because of all the lines in the building. Yeah. So Joan's been taking the class online.
The lines are more interesting, I think, in the first one. But I like, because they're slimmer, they're more powerful than the
Yeah,
ones in
okay.
this one.
Yep.
that's beautiful.
Well, and then
Oh, that's a panorama.
Panorama.
Oh, panorama.
We're trying to figure out where it is.
Ooh.
Oh, is it
Oh,
the
it's-
common area?
Yeah, common area.
Either that or they have an apartment with a huge thing and a fireplace and. No. Yeah, I think that's right. But I really like you can see the different attempts here. Getting in close. I like this one because of the shape of the flowers here. It'd be really fun to just go like that. But you see the impact of the different things. What do we think?
I love that tree.
It's one of the most photographed trees because it's a nice tree and it's very close. Which one of these do you like?
It's interesting because the tree shouldn't be smack in the middle of that one on the right-hand side. And yet, it gives real power in that particular picture.
Sure. You put something big in the center and it dominates.
Yeah.
Is that what it is? And it's strong. I like that picture the better of the 3. It's,
Which one of these do you like the best? And why?
I like the one on the top left.
Top left?
Yes, because of the sun coming through, and I also like the tree placed into you can see where it is. There's a lake behind it, and beyond that, I can't see very well, I
Yeah.
guess.
But you're right.
But it tells more of the story.
I'm with you on that. That's one I like the best as well.
Which
And,
one?
and yeah, well, and the reason is because I think this, it kind of just cuts stuff off, right? And this one doesn't give it the boost, but this, when you're doing landscape, one of the things that's really hard is to figure out a way to make sure that the viewer realizes the size of what you're doing. So you always try and put something small in the foreground or something close in the foreground so they get a sense of size, or you include people.
Oh, yeah.
Did you even see them in there?
No.
Yeah, so that, wow, that's a big tree. And then, this is a really interesting element.
Yeah.
Because for me, what this says is, oh, it's a tree, a baseball diamond with bleachers. The bleachers become a really strong element in there that I like.
Now, the fact that it's crooked from one standpoint,
Yeah,
the right one on the right is not.
that's
The
true.
bottom one is not. And does that not bother you in that left upper one?
Oh, I suppose it could be a little better if it were straightened. I really hadn't noticed it that much.
Probably not.
Yeah, so it's not like, because it doesn't have such a defined horizon line.
Yes, yes.
I just like that.
So I like the one on the right the best.
This,
And for a couple of reasons. One is, the one on the left-hand side sort of confuses the focus about what is the subject. It could be the tree, it could be the baseball diamond in the back.
okay?
But the one on the right makes clear that the tree is what is and then there's this horizontal line that I can see much better in the right one than the left one that is essentially the fencing that provides a diagonal line that,
Okay,
so there's another viewpoint.
And
good
you-
viewpoint.
And there's another thing, it shows the whole tree. in
Which
the-
does?
In the left.
That one,
That
left,
one.
yes.
And I don't think it's a very attractive tree. I think the tree actually looks better in the right-hand picture
Right.
than it does in the other one.
The light came off better too, I think.
Yeah, so I'll talk about that in a second. There are a couple other things though. Look at this,
That one.
okay? And this. And you don't see any of that in that.
Yeah.
So May, tell us about what you were thinking.
Well, this is about 5 o'clock, and I was trying, I love this tree too, Senator Joe, and we walked by it 100 times, but it looked different to me because the light, the sunlight is lower and the shadows were interesting. But what became interesting when I looked at it on my phone after I'd seen it is some of you thought that was a lake behind it, and that's not a lake.
No,
It's
it's
the
baseball.
fencing around
Yeah.
the ballpark.
Right,
And so there's no water, and the eye can trick you.
absolutely.
I thought it was a lake.
Huh?
I thought it was a lake.
Yeah, don't most of you? And that's why, and I
Well, she thought it
thought,
was
well,
a
I
lake,
didn't
too.
take the lake, and so,
I didn't see the person or the fence.
Well, I didn't see the person until just now.
Oh, man, I'm just.
Yeah, well, that's what's fun. It's studying photographs, you know?
It's better when you have glasses to look at.
Yeah, that's-
I couldn't understand why everybody was saying baseball diamond, I just could not see it.
yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
Do you see it
see the
now?
bleachers looking out onto the baseball field?
Yeah.
And
But
there's-
are there also people in the one on the right, in the
A
center?
couple of people right here
Okay, but go,
and there.
okay, go to the middle of where you've just been. Are there two people there?
Here?
Yeah, what's that?
No, that's branches hanging down.
Oh, okay.
Interesting.
Well, what's fun is you look at the three different photographs framed differently, and we interpret the same scene many different ways.
I have a question.
Go ahead.
When I was taking pictures, a lot of times, like I was in where the falls were, and oftentimes, like this branch here in the square,
This?
yeah, oftentimes there were different foliage in the way immediately in front of me, and the
Right.
fall was behind me. What is that? Is that distract? I mean, what is that about?
It can distract, sure, because it can distract, but it also can help in that, as I was saying, if you're doing these big falls, and you just have the falls, and you can't really, okay, what's the size of the falls?
Yeah.
but you step back and here's a tree or a rock or something,
Uh-huh.
that now you capture that in a corner that gives you a sense of scale.
Uh-huh.
That's the whole idea. But if let's say that this were further down here like this,
Yeah, right.
then it would be just cluttered.
Clutter, yeah.
Yeah.
And that'd be so easy to take off, just.
Oh, sure, it's easy to,
Either
well, but
side, just a teeny bit of cropping would have removed it.
if you crop down here and then you crop in here, but remember, if you cropped in here, what are you gonna lose here? Because it comes all the way down. There,
Now,
you
now,
know.
when you crop and then you publish it, whatever, you print
Yeah.
it, you print it, and you said something in the YouTube that if you crop, it loses this aspect ratio, and so therefore you lose this what, clarity or what? is it?
Clarity. So, what we're talking about is our photographs you've made with your phone.
Yeah.
So like when I do with my really expensive camera,
Yeah.
it records enough pixels, enough information that if you crop it, it still stays pretty clear. But a small phone, when you crop, if you were to crop this so it's like this, say, right? Just because it's a phone file, it's going to be pretty darn blurry when you try and blow it up.
When you print it.
Yeah, that's the problem.
Are we gonna talk about how you print it, because I have no idea.
We can later, yeah. Okay, so one of the things that struck me about these photographs is what I mentioned earlier when we started today. And that is my congratulations to you for having taken excellent photos in brilliant sunlight in the middle of the day, which is really darn near impossible. But you've been doing it. Look what happened here. What captured me was the light. The quality of the light in these photos is what makes them striking. The fact that there's a bright light on this white tree here with shadows in the back, and it's mellow light. So I want to talk for a minute about light, all right? Don stopped me in the hallway and said, "Look at what I found." And he found light in the evening time. Okay, and he showed me these two photos.
Oh.
This one I think is interesting, you know where this is. This is over by the other, you're across the street from Bell's Cookie Store, not theirs. Looking across, but capturing this light,
Yes.
right? And then this.
Yes.
I mean, this is right off the lake, the light on the people, the shadows, all of that. I just think that's just really, really great.
Me too.
Light is, all you're doing is, when you're making a photograph, is you're capturing light. So paying attention to light is what's really, really important. Light and shadows. There's hard light and there's soft light. A lot of that is determined by the time of day. So I want to talk about those. And then when you need to use the flash. All right? So hard light in the middle of a sunny day is harsh. And as you can see in this photograph, it just, look at her shoulders, the side of her face, all of that. It's not a great photograph. I just went through my photos to pull out one that I could use to explain that. And this is a white sheet or something, and it's burned out because of the direct, bright sunlight. So the camera is trying to capture this dark and this light at the same time. We talked about dynamic range. That's the range between pure black and pure white, and the eye can manage it, but a camera can't. So when you're in hard light in the middle of a sunny day, it's really hard to make a photograph. Soft light in the middle of a cloudy day. So hard light comes from a very bright light. The farther away the light is, the harsher it's going to be. You bring a light close to something, it softens. Or if it's a hard light, you put a diffuser in front of it. Something that mitigates that. Well, nature provides that for us. It's called a gray sky. So this is taken obviously in the fall, but it's about the same time of day, but gray clouds. And you'll notice how softer the light is here. And it's because of that. The light has been diffused by the clouds. Bright, hard light in the middle of a sunny day is harsh. And I thought that was really a fun photo. So I tried taking it. Where do you think the sun is? Is there a hint?
Almost overhead.
Because look at the shadows.
Yeah,
But also look at this. See that?
yeah.
I couldn't get rid of that.
Ah,
Because no matter where I moved, that followed me around. Because the sun is right over my shoulder. Almost straight down. Now, come back at night, right? In the evening. Warm, soft light in the golden hours of the sunny day. So it's still brilliantly sunny. The golden hour is the hour before sunset or after sunset. Same thing in the morning, sunrise, okay? And what you end up with is soft light like that. Same day, hours apart. And you'll notice how low the sun is because of the shadow. This shadow is straight down, this shadow is like that. Because of the trees, they're in shade.
That's a good example of a tree being right where it belongs, doing what it's supposed to be doing in a picture, when we were talking about the other little bit of tree.
This tree here. Yeah. What I was trying to do is create the sense that they are sitting in this boat on land having a picnic.
Funny.
Yeah.
But it's all because of the light. Luscious light.
Yeah.
Evening time. What does bright light, hard light produce? Sharp, strong shadows. And so I'm not going to take any photos because it's just too harsh, the shadows are too bright. No. I love to play. So you play with it.
Ooh,
Now I took a picture of me just standing there like that, trying to get my camera in a place, and then I thought, well, it's dull. And then I saw that line, and I thought, well, what happens if the line cuts through me? Okay? Then our favorite tree,
oh.
okay? And then, this I did after our last class, last week ago Monday, right? Because we were talking about shadows and paying attention and whatnot. And I took probably 10 photographs of this before I got one I liked.
Yeah.
So I'm holding my phone here, like this. And actually, if you look closely, you can see it right here.
Uh-huh.
I couldn't get it all the way around and capture it. And then, I just pointed at the fountain, and I was trying to get it so I could get my finger up to push the button. But
Close enough.
Too much.
yeah. But so,
it looks like an alien leaning over to be kissed.
Oh, yeah.
it looks like an alien leaning over to be kissed. Wonderful.
Whoa.
E.T.
You've been reading some romance novels.
But see him?
I do.
Yeah, now that you say that, it is E.T., yeah. So if I were to crop it so it's just,
Yeah, that's right.
but then there's this,
Yeah.
Yeah,
and I couldn't get rid of it.
but there's also the swirl in the fountain.
Yeah, the swirl in the
Yeah,
fountain,
which
yeah.
sort of
Yeah.
echoes that gray at the side.
So some of you maybe see me out there, I have a little stool I carry with me. And it's only about this high, and it's collapsible, easy to carry, because I like to sit on it rather than kneel down all the time. But the other thing is to be able to, if I had it with me, I would have stood up and then been able to
Go down.
maybe do it.
Yeah.
So, yeah. But you can play with the shadows. So what's a variety of light produce? Complexity and interest. We have all seen this place I'm about to show you. We've all taken photographs of it. Maybe not at this time of day.
Oh, yeah.
It's the stump right out there. And what's interesting about this photograph was I was trying to do one thing, and that is capture light. Well, what do we have here? This is in the golden hour, but this is pretty harsh light because it's directly at it. But it's got that golden glow to it, right? And then it's got some pretty strong shadows, but it's much softer over here. So it's a little mixture of everything.
That's a vertical frame?
Horizontal.
I mean, a horizontal?
Yeah, it's horizontal, yeah.
It's amazing how not much better these pictures are on the side.
On the sides, yeah.
This is gorgeous.
Yeah, isn't it? Yeah, it really is interesting.
Oh, yeah.
The
Yeah.
colors are so much richer.
Well, but it's entirely different type of picture. It's actually more interesting, softer.
Okay, to your eye?
Yeah.
I mean, it's the same photo.
Yeah, I know it.
That's a
I know.
high resolution screen.
Yeah.
This is not.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but somehow what's in there calls for a softer look.
Okay. To your eye, some people like it.
Yeah, I like it.
Yeah.
I like it.
That just looks busy to me.
Looks busy. Yeah.
The colors are interesting. I mean, over there, you get the red and the
Right.
green.
Right. Okay. So, find the light you like, wander around and study it. Move in closer. Consider your frame. So this one is just simply leaning over into the reeds, right?
Right.
And I like the light, all of that. This one, she's sitting on the park bench. You remember the telephone? It's right over here, so she's at the end of that bench. And when I was looking at her, what I liked was that the background, because of the time of day,
Oh, yeah.
is in dark shade.
Oh, yeah.
Almost looks like nighttime over here.
It does, yeah. And so what it did was gave me the chance to really capture her without a lot of busy stuff in the back. And the other thing that makes that somewhat interesting is gesture. She's doing something, not just sitting there. Like the ones we saw of Betty's with the long one with the girl sitting, talking on her phone, there was some action there. So then the question you have to ask yourself
What kind
is,
of frame is that? Go back. What kind of frame is that?
that's square.
Square.
Yeah,
It's interesting what square does.
it is.
Yeah.
Square makes a big difference.
It kind of gets away with the non-essentials a lot, I think.
It does. It forces you to get away from the non-essentials. Yes.
Frank, is the setting on the phone when you took the picture of the woman on the left square, or
Yes.
did you crop it?
It's square. I
Okay.
cropped it just a little bit. Yep.
The other thing I like about the left is the gray is really speaking to me. The gray of her hair, the gray of the
Yeah.
bench, the gray of her shoes.
Gray,
the
gray,
horizo-
gray,
Yeah,
yes.
the horizontal gray on the bottom.
Yep.
Um,
And the other part that I liked is the color of her phone.
Yeah.
It's fun for me because most of the work that I do in black and white. I just love black and white. Doing this, you have forced me to really pay more attention to color, and it's really been fun, so thank you. Yeah, it's great.
The color on this one is great.
Yeah, the color on this one, yeah. Okay, where's the light coming from? That's an important thing to think about, all right? So where's the light coming from in May's photo over there? On your left.
From the left.
Directly from the left. Right? No, nothing overhead. Now the middle one's a little more complex.
Yeah.
Well,
Overhead and to the
overhead.
left.
Overhead and to the left. Well, in May's,
A
it
little
is
bit
clearly
correct.
one dominant light source. There are two light sources in this one. There is the primary light that is coming in from here, highlighting all of this, right? Now, if that were the only light, there'd be a big shadow along here, which could be interesting. But there's a softer light that's coming in from over here that creates the catch light I was talking about before.
Huh.
So you can see light from two different sources.
Hmm.
And what about this last one?
Cloudy day.
Cloudy day. Yeah,
Very
it's really diffused light. And if it came from anywhere in particular, it would be just almost straight down because there are no shadows.
Yeah.
There's shadows over here, under that. Do you remember, was it a cloudy day?
I'm trying to think.
Trying to remember. Just say yes.
Yes.
So there you go. It's paying attention to where the light's coming from. All right. So light from behind or backlighting. We'll get this done quickly so we can get back out there. So we talked about silhouettes. You know, we've done that before. But I found a tree as I was out trying to do some of this stuff, and the light was coming from directly behind it. And I thought, wow, that's really kind of nice. And so what I focused on, no pun intended, was what I liked is the golden light kind of in the middle.
Yes.
But what's this a picture of? Well, okay, interesting lines and all of that. So I did what I've been preaching, and that is I moved. And I moved a little closer. Oh, okay. Now it starts getting a little more dramatic, because what I hadn't seen before was this,
Yeah.
right? I like these and this. It still is a little bit busy. So what should I do?
They go in.
Move in? Yes. So I moved in.
What a difference.
Huge difference, isn't it?
Yes.
Yeah. So now here we are, moved in. What's the part of this photo that's most interesting?
Well, it's that,
The blue
that
of the
light
sky
on it.
just.
The blue in the sky
just-
and this.
Yeah.
This light.
Yeah.
So
How does that?
I said, I gotta wrap this up. So what I said was, what if I changed the aspect ratio, made it square, so I had a dominant piece? And I moved in closer and got
There it
there.
is. Yeah.
Really interesting.
Okay?
What is that? Is that?
It's just a branch growing up in the tree, right? So, we've run out of time here. So, Phil Flash to the rescue. Okay? Because this was so dark, I just turned on my flash and got that.
Huh.
Okay? So we've run out of time. You know where your flash is. Use it. So here's your assignment. All right? Find some light to photograph. Not necessarily the image. Photograph the light. Is the light hard or harsh or soft? If it's hard, okay, how does that affect the photo you take? Where's the light coming from? And then send me some photos. All right? Before we go, I have a question for you. What do you want to do in session number 8? We don't have time to talk about it. I'm going to send you an email this afternoon. Respond to me. So let's go make some photos of light and have fun.
Thank you.
Yeah,
Okay.
good lecture.
All right.
Really.